Hi everyone, I'm Cassandra Verbruggen. I'm the Executive Director of Spy Hop Productions. We are a creative youth development organization located in Salt Lake City that serves young people across the state of Utah. We do have a media arts center that is located in downtown. We work with approximately about 15,000 young people throughout the state in film, audio, music, and design programs. Our organization was founded in 1999. We were actually born out of an after-school tutoring program. It was an experiential program. We started with 12 teenagers in a documentary film program that we were looking at the turn of the millennium and the impact that the turn of the millennium was having on their communities and themselves. And fast forward 20 years, we now serve 15,000 young people from across the state of Utah in film, audio, music, and design. We have 25 staff members, full-time mentors who are teaching artists that work with our young people. In 2014, we embarked on a capital campaign to build a permanent home in downtown Salt Lake City. For our long-term sustainability of the organization, we decided it was best to build a permanent home. Really, this was a 10-year project that took hold, though, in 2014. We broke ground in 2019, and a year later, we have moved into our new facility. We took a risk. When we broke ground, we were only 60% funded through this project, but we knew that the construction costs and were just skyrocketing. The project had already gone up 25%. And we knew that we could fundraise for this, and so we felt like we could take that risk. We put a shovel in the ground in August of 2019, and halfway through this project was March 13th. The pandemic hit. We shut down. We went totally remote with all of our programs and all of our staff as well. On March 18th, Salt Lake City experienced a 5.4 magnitude earthquake. Needless to say, our organization, our community, our staff, everyone, I mean, our worlds were literally just rocked. Marco Polo kept us sane, kept us laughing, kept us connected. We turned to Slack to be able to communicate on a regular basis with one another and make sure that we were staying connected. We were very fortunate to receive a PPP loan. We kept all of our staff, we kept everyone on staff. We didn't furlough anyone. Of course, our fundraising really just hit a brick wall with the campaign, but now fast forward another 6 months and our community stepped up and they supported us. Needless to say, change has been a constant with us for many, many years now, but absolutely, over the last year, this organization has gone through a tremendous amount of change. So how did we manage that change? What's the secret sauce to managing change during these really crazy times? When I was asked to do this video, I just took a little bit of time to reflect on what are the practices, what are the things that I've done as a leader of this organization in order to help us manage this change. And I came up with these 10 steps. The first is to create a shared vision that stands the test of time. Now, this is something that you can't do right in the middle of change, right in the middle of a pandemic. This is something that has to be part of your organization and your work as an organization consistently and constantly. We need to all have a long-term shared vision for what we want to achieve. And we need to make sure that all of our young people and all of our staff, they all have a stake in the future of this organization. And so we need to make sure that we are giving them all a seat at the table and making sure that their voices are part of this organization and that they are contributing to the success of this organization. Number 2, we need to develop a culture of adaptive learning. I consider Spy Hop to be a learning organization. We take a design approach to our work and to our thinking. We reflect, we ideate, we implement, we test, we do it all over again. And this really came into focus during the pandemic. We were able to just switch and on a dime and move all of our programming to remote learning. And we continued to iterate and learn on the fly. I mean, our mentors were, having to redevelop entire sets of curriculum for their programs, and they were able to do that because this is something that we have been practicing as an organization for many years. Number 3, We employ a distributive leadership model here at SpyHub. I don't have all the answers. I look to our entire staff, but our leadership team in particular, in order to help guide me and guide this organization and bring their expertise to the table in any kind of decision making that takes place within this organization. It can be isolating. It can be, especially during the pandemic, we're all at home. We're all working by ourselves, and in particular, I've felt a sense of isolation. I question myself: what am I doing? Am I doing things right? Am I making the right decisions? And it's been extremely helpful to have a team of people that I can turn to, that can come to me and say, honestly, this is working, this isn't working. We need to shift. We need to change. Number 4, you need to know your stakeholders. Our funders, our board, our community, they trusted us during this time, and they continue to trust us. They know we're making the right decisions. They're behind us. And it's extremely important, and it has been really important, to communicate with them. The minute that the pandemic hit, I was on the phone with funders, talking to them, asking them, can we use your funds for different, during this time in order to pivot, and they were behind us 100% during this time. Number 5, this is a tricky one, but I have learned to embrace what we call the messy middle. Change is not easy. Change is really hard. Change is one of those things that makes people uncomfortable. As humans, we want certainty. We want to know what is going to happen tomorrow. But during this pandemic, during the earthquakes, during a capital campaign, during a building in construction, we just didn't know. And but we've learned to really just sort of make our way through this messiness. Mistakes will be made during times of uncertainty and times of change, and we all just have to learn from our mistakes and be able to pivot and shift and move and embrace the fact that we're not perfect. Number 6 is communicate. As you all know, working remotely, working off of Zoom, it's been really challenging. I mean, you can't just walk over to somebody's office or somebody's desk and start talking to them. You don't get that sense of connection and belonging that we used to all get in the workplace. And so what we did at SpyHub here, we embraced new ways of communicating. Marco Polo, Slack, texts, Google Meets, Gmail, everything we can think of in order to stay connected. And then we also kind of developed some norms around those things as well. It's like, we have Slack, we have text, and that means we need to answer our texts and our Slack and our emails as soon as possible, as quickly as possible. And number 7, you've got to practice self-care. Can't iterate enough how important it is to really take care of yourself. And that means, for me personally, it's setting boundaries. On the weekends, if something isn't happening, then I need to be paying attention to. I'm not checking emails. And our staff aren't either. And we've really, we set those boundaries with one another, and we trust that we can check out for the weekend. And number 8, you need to find your allies during these tough times. I have a group of women that I meet with weekly. We have a standing Zoom meeting at 4:30 on a Thursday, and they're executive directors of other arts organizations. And it's an opportunity for us to just check in with one another, talk, just be able to vent and share, and it all, stays within the confines of our Zoom call. And I can't tell you how important that these women have been to me over this last year. And number 9, it's important to take a Zen approach to change. We can't control what's going on around us, but we can accept it and recognize it and learn from it and move on from it. Right now, we're not perfect. None of us are perfect. And we just have to be able to expect the best we can from one another, but at the same time know that we can't control that. And number 10, we need to practice resiliency. We work with our young people to build their own sense of resiliency. We need to do the same as organizations. Again, we need to be able to bounce back from tough times and be able to adapt as we need to adapt. At the end of the day, we always, and I really try hard to be authentic, down to earth, and approachable. My door is always open. I feel like I really try hard to make sure that I show my own sense of care and love for this organization. And I try to do that in the most authentic and real way. And my hope is that others that are a part of this organization feel that as well and stay connected and true to our mission as we go through these tough times.